windy. Just not enough real rain. On the set of the new movie about the life of the artist L.S. Lowry, played by Timothy Spall.
Called Mrs Lowry Son, about L.S. Lowry, the famous Salford painter, and his mother, and their relationship, and how his work is influenced by that relationship and pans out from that centre.
A settlement built at the end of the 18th century by a Christian community in Droylsden in Greater Manchester, used to recreate the Salford suburb where Lowry lived.
When we were wrecking this film, we found it really difficult to find enough streets and environments that were completely authentic, because most of the mills have either been destroyed or they've been turned into rather expensive luxury flats.
The morning was spent filming a scene where L.S. Lowry makes a phone call, and part of the end result can be spied in the film's trailer.
4 or 5 hours just staring at his paintings, and then found out some more and more, read some biographies and stuff. But his relationship with his mother was very important to him, because he was more or less her carer. When she would wait for her to go off to sleep, and then he would go up in his attic and paint. He would paint some of the great masterpieces that we've seen.
Cut! Good. That's it, let's move.
Thank you, guys.
The film's producer, Debbie Gray, took us on a tour.
You can see with the cobbles and the houses, it really is so period 1934.
I've still lived in that.
I know,
That's one of the residents
I know.
poking his head out to see what's going on.
Well, obviously we do attract a lot of attention.
And the afternoon's filming, a scene where Lowry walks past his neighbour, once again in the rain.
One of these is Lowry's house. Which one, the red door or the blue?
The red door, 117 Station Road.
And how accurate is it?
Well, the art department would say it's absolutely, completely accurate. Every shot, there are so many things.
How many minutes will you get from today?
About 3.
But now the paint is dry, Mrs Lowry Son is finished, and the rain machine can be put away. Colin Patterson, BBC News, Droylsden.
And in the artist's hometown, right here in Salford, actually, just across the water from us here. So, Timothy, this is a part of Lowry's life that I really didn't know anything about. This is about this toxic relationship with his mother.
Indeed, I didn't know anything about it, and when I read the script, that's exactly what intrigued me about it. I mean, this incredibly close, intimate, some would say abusive relationship with this woman he was enthralled to. He looked after, he adored, he loved.
I love you. When you came in here, you said you watched it in a cinema last night with lots of other people. What's that like for you? Is that quite intense?
Well, it's a bit odd, but what I like about it is that you stick, because some of it's pretty grim, but it gets a lot of laughs, which is great, because it's so outrageous how cruel she is to him at times. But that was his natural state. He grew up with that, you know, and so... But, you know, I think, you know, Claire's the expert on the painting. She's the curator of the place, so she's lived with him all the time. So, you know, she knows... I think we have agreed. We did a big talk about it, didn't we?
And it took a long time, didn't it, for his paintings to be recognised?
It did. I mean, at the time the film is set, he's just really trying to get his career going and persevering. And it's really only a few years later, the same year that his mother dies, in fact, that he has his first major exhibition in London.
So she never knew that he was getting recognised.
That,
there was indications, weren't there? In a couple of letters, people showing interest.
Yes. And he's showing work locally and overseas, actually, in Paris in the 20s and so on. But he has the exhibition in London, and then she dies a few months later. So the fame that he went on to later in life, she never knew about.
Do you have favourites of his work? Because I think most people think of some of the images, actually, we can see behind us here, that, you know, but that wasn't the only style that he painted in, was it?
No, absolutely not. I mean, people still associate him most closely with the industrial landscape. That's what he's best known for, and that's what people focus on. But if you come to the Lowry, you've got the whole range of his work there. So these are fantastic seascapes, portraits, you know, empty landscapes. There's so much more to Lowry than just the industrial scenes.
You didn't answer that question. Which is the favourite?
Oh, my favourite. Well, sometimes he can be surprisingly sort of modern looking, and there's a fantastic drawing just of a sort of view from the Royal Technical College here in Salford, with a huge chimney just sort of running through the centre of it, and it's a really sort of modern take, very modern eye that he has.
It's a beautiful drawing. Also, what people don't, people don't know is that they see this sort of supposedly naive style, which it isn't. But when you see his early work, there's a real draftsmanship, there's a real craft in what he's doing in development. He painted in a sort of impressionistic style. He painted in the 30s portraiture. I mean, he really knew this. As Picasso said, it took him 60 years to paint like a child. I mean, nobody gives that credit to Lowry.
Can I ask you a question? You know, you were talking about the relationship and how his mum was so dismissive of what you did. People love you, and they love your work, and always have done for years.
What's the matter with them?
Do you have a reference point? Was anyone really dismissive? When, I don't know, when you first said you were going to be an actor, were there people who said, you know, oh, forget it, get a real job? Did you go through any of that business early on in your career?
Do you know what? Quite the contrary from my mum and my, who passed away recently, God rest her soul, and my dad were both supportive, very supportive. About it but don't forget, in them days it was easier to go to drama school. I went to RADA and I got a full grant from the GLC, you know, the London County Council it was called then. I had to go and audition for somebody who was a sort of councillor or something, which was very odd. But a couple of people thought I was nuts at school, but you know, it was again a bit like Lowry, I was compelled, and also there was one teacher at school that I did the school play. I didn't know whether I was going to join the army or go to art college. I did the school play, and that took care of that. And when I was playing the lion, and when she did my makeup, when she took my nose off, she said, "I think you should be an actor." And that was, I was like...
And that was the moment, do you think that was literally...
And I was playing the Lion in The Wizard of Oz.
Brilliant.
And I shall be eternally grateful to have her. Helena Millets, if you're out there, thank you very much, because then not only that, she showed me which way to go. So this is where the art thing comes from, because I was always into art.
And obviously you're not unfamiliar with painting anyway. Are you back to painting now, or how do you...
Well, I mean, in their wisdom, or in their foolishness, or in their great delight, the Lowry asked me, there's 14 of my paintings on the wall.
In the Lowry?
And you start off doing sort of copies of Lowry's work, and then it sort of develops into more your own kind of subject matter and style.
Yeah, via Lowry and Turner.
Nice
exactly.
Yes.
I mean, if I had an iota of either of their talents, I'd be pleased. But there's a little touch of it in there. So if that's all, that might be all it is.
And you play alongside Vanessa Redgrave, which is absolutely wonderful.
Oh, she's brilliant. Brilliant.
It's sort of claustrophobic, isn't it? Because the scene is mostly in that bedroom from which she never moves.
No, and there's a painting of that bedroom, which is a sort of a shrine to her he did after she'd gone.
Yeah.
You can feel the loneliness. Because once she'd gone, as much as that relationship was undermining, he was heartbroken.
Yeah.
She was his everything. And when he turned down a night off because she said once mother had gone, it didn't seem that important to me.
Anyway, it's really lovely to see you both. Thank you very much indeed. And the film is called Mrs Lowry and Son, and it's out on Friday.
And it is...